Alrighty guys, it is Quaman here today, and I'm bringing you another Dragon Ball Z segment on What If Frieza Knew How to Sense Energy. But I am not alone, as I am joined with Rhymestyle and Random Black Gamer. As a lot of you guys have noticed that I've been trying to incorporate a lot of other DBZ tubers on my channel to share their thoughts and to make our discussions a lot more lively. So without wasting any more time, we're going to get straight into what would happen if Frieza knew how to sense energy in Dragon Ball Z. So, RBG, would you like to start us off with your opinion on how that would impact the series?
Yes, yeah, how you guys doing? Yeah, RBG. Yeah, I think this would very much impact the series, because Vegeta, when he came to Earth, he was already a big threat, and after he went to Namek, and developed that sense, that ability to sense ki, he was a very, force to be reckoned with. So I think Frieza actually being able to sense energy would make him twice as deadly as Vegeta was, especially considering the fact that he's going to be on a whole another level and possibly God Frieza. I think that he'll probably even be able to sense out Goku's power, like his God ability.
Interesting. And Rhymestyle?
Oh boy, I don't even know where to start here. So here's how I view Frieza. Frieza's biggest weakness as a villain is the fact that not that he couldn't regenerate, not that he wasn't stronger than everybody, because usually Cell was stronger than Goku, Kid was stronger than Goku. Frieza was the weakest, but Frieza was the biggest villain threat. But his biggest weakness wasn't all the stuff that I mentioned. His biggest weakness was the ability that he couldn't sense ki. Because if you look at how the story could have gone, if he knew how to sense ki, it could have taken many different paths. Number one, before the fight happened, Frieza being able to sense ki, he would need Scouter, so he'll be able to find every villager on Namek and get the Dragon Balls. Two, he'd be able to find the humans, Gohan, Krillin, Bulma, all of them on Namek and kill them. Three, when Nail was fighting Frieza and trying to stall him, he would have been able to sense that Dende was going to the Sea Warriors to get the dragons, and he would have freaking gotten there before Dende got in there, ruined the wish, ruined the entire plan. Everyone would have blown up on the plan later. There's so much that could have happened here. And that's not even forget the fight. The fight itself, the most important part was when Goku was creating the Spirit Bomb. And Frieza would have sensed it. What then? The second he started collecting the Spirit Bomb and looked up, he would have known that, oh crap, I need to go do something. He would have killed Goku right then and there. There's just so many ways the story could have gone, but it didn't because he couldn't sense ki. And also, just one more thing. Let's say Frieza got ki sensing powers when he was recreated as a robot when he came back to Earth. Let's say he knew how strong Trunks was, because the thing is, Frieza's biggest flaw was he seen himself as his number one villain, number one person in the universe. And had he sensed how strong Trunks really was when he went Super Saiyan, what would have stopped Trunks, or what would have stopped Frieza from just throwing a death ball as far away as possible to hit the Earth, so Trunks couldn't stop it? He would have blown up the planet knowing that Trunks was stronger. There's so many ways it would have gone just because Frieza had that extra ability. That's why this is the most important power to have in the Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I'm sorry about cutting you guys off. I thought we were discussing the movie, but we're just discussing what if Frieza had the ability to sense ki during his timeline up in the canon universe of Dragon Ball Z, correct?
No, it's all good. We'll do the movie too.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Okay.
So I guess same question to you then. Going back to when Frieza was on Namek fighting everybody, if he had the ki sensing powers, what do you think would have been the outcome?
Well, finish what you were saying, RBG.
Oh no, like I said, I mentioned Vegeta earlier. When Vegeta got his ki power, it was almost like he wasn't the senseless brute that he was when he came into the series, where he just knew he could take on everybody. It's almost like he used common sense when he could sense ki. So I think Frieza would have been a lot more, contingent with the DBZ fighters if he knew, if he could sense ki.
Well, I mean, you guys bring up a lot of points. Obviously, I have a lot to say here. The first thing is that one thing that we're not necessarily, I think we overlooked, is the whole Dragon Ball search scenario, because you gotta remember that one of the main reasons why Frieza called in the Ginyu Force was because the Elder Kai destroyed all the Scouters.
Yep.
Now, had Frieza known how to actually sense energy, this would have impacted a lot of things. Now, if you also look at both the anime and the manga, it's been shown that Guldo actually knows how to sense ki. because he was the only member of the Ginyu Force who didn't have a scouter, and yet he knew how strong Gohan and Krillin were. So
wait, he never had a scouter, really? I never noticed.
Yeah, Guldo never had a scouter. I actually did a video, who was the real Guldo and Raccoon, and essentially that's what I talked about, is one of the main things about him, because of his weird head shape.
Gotcha. Because I knew he had advanced psychic powers, but I never thought about the fact that he might be able to sense ki. It's a good one.
Yeah. It was proven when Gohan and Krillin were powering up, and he's like, "Oh my, look at their power," because you know he wouldn't have any other sense without it.
Right.
But going back to what I was saying, I mean, I think that impacts a lot of things. The thing is that Frieza's lazy, and he kind of wants his minions to do things. So we could say on one hand that Frieza would have his, you know, his individual self go search for the Dragon Balls if the scouters are broken, but at the same time he can point his henchmen in the direction of finding, you know, where the Dragon Balls were. And who knows, maybe if Frieza knew how to sense energy, he would kind of like have a system where he would train his henchmen to learn how to use without it. So if that way, the whole Gohan, Krillin, all of them, like, not really worrying about their power levels being detected on Namek and just flying freely would have been completely different, because they would have obviously have had to have suppressed it and fly slower because of the fact that Frieza's men could pick it up. So I think that changes the entire Namek saga, and I think basically everybody's going to be killed before, you know, before Goku even gets there. Now let's, you know, hypothetically think about what would happen if Frieza was still somehow defeated by Goku with all those weird circumstances. If you go to the Trunks saga, I think that if Frieza could sense Goku coming from outer space, obviously he knew Goku was coming because he could sense his spaceship being tracked. But at the same time, you remember Trunks was a character who was suppressing his power the whole time anyways. That's why Frieza's henchman was like, oh, his power level's a 5.
Right.
So I still think that Frieza would have still underestimated Trunks had he known how to sense energy.
Well, I disagree with that part, because I knew you were going to say that. Because he went all out when he transformed, though.
With Trunks?
Yeah, when he transformed, went Super Saiyan, he went from suppressing his power to like really. I mean, he probably didn't max out, but he probably did like pull in a good chunk of power out of nowhere.
Right.
And I feel like Frieza would have sensed that and just gotten PTSD from when he fought Goku. Like, nah, screw this. I'm not even gonna play this game. I would fire like this. This is a scenario that I would see. At least if I was Frieza, this is what I would do. Throw a supernova at Trunks, and while he's lifting it, I would throw another supernova somewhere far away. I'm like, hey, by the way, while you've been busy lifting that supernova, look over there. Bam! Your precious Earth is about to be blown up.
Another thing too, like I feel like King Cold, like Frieza gets most of his arrogance from King Cold, because like if anything, when I saw Trunks lifting up that supernova, I would have launched my own special. You know, maybe King Cold had a supernova attack as well that was twice as fast as Frieza's.
That's true, because they had no idea how strong Trunks was as an individual, because all the henchmen were dead.
Exactly. That's why if they both had the power sense ki, it would have been a very different battle.
But in my opinion, I still think Goku would have used instant transmission to go back.
Oh, he definitely would. He definitely would. He definitely would, because I guess he was sensing it because he could sense ki. He was sensing it and he knew what was going on. That's why he was like, you know what? I'm gonna chill out. I'm gonna just chill.
Yeah. He's like, I was gonna make my move.
What I want to know is why is this fool taking a space pod when he could just easily instant transmission from planet Yardrat?
I never understood that either. I always thought that was a plot hole. Now the thing is that originally what happened in the future timeline was that Goku was gonna use his instant transmission to transport to Earth and defeat Frieza and King Cole. But you know, because obviously Frieza and King Cole were there and Trunks wasn't in the future. But what I think happened in the present is that, you know, Trunks, you know, came and then like got rid of Frieza and King Cole, and Goku's like probably like, okay, I guess I can wait. But it still doesn't make any sense. Why would you still waste those extra 2 hours anyway? It's just instant transmission in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
It still doesn't make sense to me. I always found that, you know, a little bit inaccurate. But I mean, if we were trying to switch our topic over a little bit to the whole Battle of Gods, I don't really think that makes a big difference when it pertains to Goku specifically, because remember, Master Roshi was saying that you can't necessarily sense a god's ki, so their power is like essentially nothing, kind of like an android. So I don't think it would affect, you know, if Vegeta.
Well, no, wasn't Goku was able to sense Beerus's ki, wasn't he?
No. Remember there was they were saying that gods don't have ki. Like
you can't sense
them.
ki, but don't you? If you obtain God ki, you can sense God ki.
I don't think so.
Like I thought that would be an interesting thing to incorporate in. Like if these guys were to achieve the god status, maybe they could sense other powers too. You know, that's what I always thought.
Yeah, I just figured that once you become God, like you gain the next level of basically sensing ki.
No, I don't think. I think once you become a god, there's no such thing as having ki anymore. But that's just my observation of the series. I could be wrong, but I strongly think that he pointed out that once you became a god, like it was all nullified. I'm sure somebody's going to share their thoughts in the comment section below.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to add it at any point when we say anything. Make sure if you have an opinion or feedback, add it to the comment section below. Okay, so here's a question I have for all three of us. Starting with RBG. Frieza can sense ki. Walk us through a story of when everybody gets to Namek.
Okay, Frieza could sense ki. The first thing,
and then remember, you can create the story any way you want. Now, this is your Toriyama right now.
Oh, dude,
go ahead.
Dude, you put me on the spot right now. All right, he can sense ki. So the first thing I know that he's gonna sense is Gohan and Krillin's power level once they get on Earth, and probably eradicate them, because we have to remember that a lot of stuff is depending on Krillin and Gohan, so if they get wiped out, everything is pretty much blown kaput.
Yep.
So that's pretty much all you have to think about.
You're right, considering the fact that those two henchmen were able to detect.
Yep.
Krillin and Gohan, if
on
I
top
remember
of that,
correctly.
Yeah, and on top of that, they fought them, which should have put out even more energy. But what about Frieza? What does Frieza do next?
Well, you gotta also factor in something else, that when they were on Namek, another reason he called in the Ginyu Force to bring the Scouters is because they couldn't sense where the other Nameks were. So it would make the process of going to the other Namekian villages a lot faster if he could sense ki. If he can sense a collective group of people in a certain region, he's gonna fly there with his men.
Here's my story. Here's my breakdown of what would happen on Namek. So by the time Gohan and Krillin got to Namek, Frieza's henchmen had what? They had what? Was it 2 Dragon Balls or 3?
I believe they had. I think when they went, they got that Elder Namek. They had 4.
Oh, they had
they
4.
Had 3, yeah.
Okay, so here's the way I would have seen it. If Frieza could sense ki, actually, you know what? They could have just done this. Why didn't they just split up completely? Like, hey, you and you go to that village. You and you go to that village. You and you go to that village. Me back here at 5. Like, why didn't they just do it in the first place?
Because they had to come up with a bad guy monologue and tell the Namekians how weak and useless they were.
Well, I guess that kind of throws my theory out of. But you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna tell you the story. So this is the way I would have viewed if Frieza could sense ki. He would have sent his party off into every village, like, hey, you go over there, you go over there, you go over there, you go over there. By the time Krillin, Gohan, Bulma got to Namek, he would have already had all 7 Dragon Balls. But of course, the problem is they don't know how to summon them. So what would happen next is I guess they would torture every single villager to death until they got the password, which they would end up not getting. I think then they would die in the process because by the time they would have Krillin and Gohan would have came to Namek, they would have had all 7 Dragon Balls, meaning they would have already wiped out the entire villages on the planet. So really, the only people that would have left would have been Guru and Nail, which of course they wouldn't have given the password. So I think Guru and Nail, I guess all the Namekans would have been essentially wiped out by the time Gohan and Krillin really got there. Dragon Balls would have been useless, and I guess the dead people would have stayed dead. There wouldn't be a wish to bring back everybody from Namek to Earth. They would have been pissed off Frieza. They probably would have blown up the planet before Goku even arrived. That's how it would have ended. And then what? Quinn, what do you think? Or Klein, what do you think?
To be completely honest with you, I don't disagree with anything you said for the most part. I mean, the Ginyu Force would probably have never been called in the first place. I mean,
right?
You could think that Frieza would go with his henchmen, or he might send them, but I honestly think if Frieza knows how to sense energy, I think his henchmen would too, because I feel like he'd have like some type of school to educate them on how to do it. I mean,
that's
because
a good point.
I mean, you got to think that Frieza's lazy, so he obviously doesn't want to do, the dirty work. So I think he'd just send his henchmen out, and he'd just be chill, and they'd get all the Dragon Balls. He'd never get his wish. He's gonna get fed up and just blow up the Earth, and he's probably never even gonna know about Earth because he wouldn't know about Gohan and Krillin because they would have just been killed and that was it. He wouldn't know anything about them. But then again, at the same time, I'm sure his empire is aware of the planet Earth, considering the fact that they were in contact with the Saiyans who sent Goku to Earth. So,
Ooh.
I mean, I do think
Alternate
it's
universe.
possible.
Alternate universe.
I think it's possible that he might eventually go to Earth for his own cause. Maybe they can make a connection with Piccolo. I mean, but then again, Piccolo's dead.
Piccolo's dead, yeah. Well, they don't know that. They don't know that the Dragon Balls are gone. So they probably could have sent a squadron over there. You know, maybe Frieza himself to look for the Dragon Balls, because they really don't know what happened to the Dragon Balls over there.
My thing is I don't even think they would know that there were Dragon Balls on Earth, in my personal opinion. So honestly, because there would have been no way that Frieza would have found out about it. Oh, wait a minute. That is, I forgot a small detail.
Yeah,
though.
you did.
They did. Frieza did spy on Vegeta's conversation when they were on Earth. So you're right. He should.
Because that's how they found out about Namek.
What's that?
That's how they found out about Namek.
That's true. But my question about that whole thing, though, I always found it was kind of a plot hole. Is this, if Frieza really cared so much about the Dragon Balls, when he came back to Earth, you know, with King Cole, why didn't he want to, like, gather the Earth Dragon Balls instead of trying to blow it up?
I think he was just thirsty for revenge. He just wanted to, like, you know... The question I have is how much stronger did Frieza come back as Mecha Frieza? Like, how you... Like, obviously, he had to be a little bit stronger. He had to be stronger.
Like, I think he was a little bit stronger because I know his Supernova Blast, it built up faster than it did.
Way faster, yeah.
But then again, we didn't really get a chance to see that blast at 100 times his power level, his full power. But I'm thinking that's the, you know, where it continued off. Even though he wasn't his bulky build, he was still at 100 times full power.
Right. What I was gonna say was he was made out of fucking spare parts. Like, he was made out of armors and just like scrap metal found around the spaceship. How was he that much stronger coming back? Like, hey, what are we gonna cover his head with? I don't know. Here's the shoulder pad. Use this.
Dude, like I always wonder. I was like, why aren't you using the rotating fist that you keep on talking about? I'm gonna revenge Goku. I'm gonna get my revenge against Goku, and you keep rewinding your fist over and over. I didn't, you know, I was wondering why he never used that technique.
Yeah,
like make a drill fist attack or something, or some kind of spinning death beam.
A lightsaber. They should get him a lightsaber. And whereas I know this is the canon, when Cooler became a robot, he was so much cooler and more perfect and like made more sense to be what he was. Whereas Frieza was just made out of like spare parts.
Yeah, so it seems like we all have a lot of good, you know, thoughts on how that was so much drastically changed the series. You guys have anything else you'd like to say before we close this out?
Yeah, I do. I want everybody's theories because this is a fun topic, and I know you guys can be as creative as possible with this. So give me the best, give us all the best ideas and paths of how the story would have gone had Frieza been able to sense ki. Like, be as specific as possible. Have as much fun with this. Comment on all our videos. This is going to be a lot of fun to read. I can't wait for this video to go up.
Yeah, and to confirm that you guys have watched this video, I want you to type in Saiyan Pride in the comment section below.
Saiyan Pride.
Saiyan Pride. What a thing to say. Anyways, guys, that's been our segment for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and check out all of our channels, RBG, Random Black Gamer, and Rhymestyle. But most importantly, over everything else, say it with me, Rhymestyle. Please remember.
Please remember.
To rate, comment, and subscribe.
To rate, comment, and subscribe.
And remember.
And remember.
As I always say.
As he always says.
In every single fucking video.
In every single fucking video.
To have.
To have.
Not just a good.
Nope, not just a good one.
Not a bad.
Not a bad.
Not a mediocre.
Not a mediocre.
But to have a great day, guys.
But to have a great day, guys.
Wait, fuck great. Have the best fucking day of your life.
There you go.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks for watching.
Peace.